speaking of good games, last week he was sensational. Shammer couldn't get the kick away decisively. Johnson to Robertson. 55 from goal. Melbourne fans rise. Sends it long. Miller gets back and Petterd.
Great courage.
Back with the flight.
Magnificent courage. Never took his eyes off the ball. Petterd, and that is a fantastic mark. Good passage of play there. Johnson hitting up Robertson. Robertson getting the ball moving. That was the key. Just see the quick ball movement here. Hit up Robertson beautifully and played on instantly to space. The dangerous space over the top. That's a very good mark.
It is for a man who nearly lost his life with a punctured lung playing this game. For Melbourne's first, and they're on the board.
We watched Melbourne play last week. They didn't play the corridor that well against North Melbourne. They continually went wide, and Dean Bailey be wrapped with this passage of play. Playing quickly through the middle of the ground in these conditions. Russell Robertson hit up beautifully there. All the dangerous space over the top. Courageous mark to Petterd there. Brad Miller probably could have had a little bit of awareness there. Had to hold back. When you've got a forward running into space, you need to protect with a big frame there. So very good play, Melbourne. End of the contest.
Crowd want ball again. McLean gets ball and goals, puts the Demons in front.
Just talked about the importance of the clearance work today for the Demons. They've got to make it a scrap. These conditions make it a scrap. Big Sandland's got it down, but good pressure again. Brock McLean stripped the ball from Hazelby, who's wonderful in that tight area. And Brock McLean already, Spud, looks to me to be a player that's going to be very important today.
That's the perfect tackle. Tackle the player, ball spills, gets the goal. The perfect tackle from Brock McLean. Great start.
Demons have the lead for the first time today as we head back downstairs. Lee Colbert.
We saw Jones earlier smothering a Shammer ball.
Centering kick. Sandland's in the hole. Tarrant almost knocked it away. Drum. Well, he dropped that into his tackled. McNamara not paid the free. Petterd, Jurrah, Sylvia through the hands of Valenti. Bradley straight to McLean. He's already had a sider and banged it through.
When you're playing defence, Liam, and you're under pressure, and they are the last 5 minutes, Freo, the last thing you want is for one of your players to handball under pressure in the corridor.
Well, it's called, when you cough the ball up like that, Spud, you've got all the numbers there, Melbourne. Like, Kepler Bradley needed to take the tackle and take the ball to ground instead of just coughing up to Brock McLean, who started off really well. He's had 7 touches and 2 goals.
And if you're going to cough the ball up, cough it towards the boundary line, not over your head into the corridor, which will allow Brock McLean an easy shot at goal. He's on fire. Brock, 2 goals already, a few tackles.
Fans, there's not a hell of a lot of them here, but 7-zip the free kick count in favour of Fremantle, so they have been bronxing a little bit, and they get a free kick. I think you'll hear about it.
Morton. He made that tough for McLean, who did well. Gave to Bate, and they're away.
Gee, they've got some loose players out this side of the ground.
Now, McNamara's free.
Short pass.
There's the hole now. Go back and settle.
He's got 30 seconds to think about this.
Well, they've covered the free men. You might as well hit the goal square here. Davey will come past and get the little 1-2, I reckon, here.
Well, he's never kicked a goal in AFL footy. This is game number 2 for Tom McNamara. It was a lamb to the slaughter in defence last week, playing on bigger opponents. That's a big roost for his first AFL goal.
Fantastic kick. That's why he didn't look around. He just went back and had composure. There's a lot of players maybe saying, well, it could be a better option, but as we see now, the best option from him from 40 metres, go back and just assess the situation and get your technique right for kicking goal. Great transference of play from Melbourne. That's a magnificent hit from Tom McNamara. 190 centimetres, 87 kilos. Great signs there for Melbourne.
Nineteen-year-old South Adelaide boy, Tom McNamara, youngest drafted in the 2007 draft, pick 66 there.
Spotting on Russell Robertson so far in this game.
Hazelby, tough ball. Ibbotson, not Davey, read that beautifully. Salts and candy and kicks the goal.
Just brilliant hands by Aaron Davey. The kick across the ground went in between the two players. I think they were looking for Ibbotson, and it went in between, and he read it really well, Davey. Now, let's just go back and have a look at Miller peeling off and keeping his eye off the ball and just running into Hazelby. But the Hazelby kick across the ground, he just read it well. Look at his hands, clean hands, good decision maker in traffic, and a really good finish from a quality player.
Back to an 8-point Demon lead. Aaron Davey could be the key.
Gets spilled in the tackle.
Lucky to get away with it. Johnson might make something out of nothing. A big ruckman shows a little bit of dexterity.
Not often you see that. Big ruckman showing dexterity, as Dwayne would say. But he did really well, Paul Johnson, there. We have a look at this. The stoppage areas, the areas Fremantle being a bit better up against the biggest player in the league, was able to get a little foot on it. And an empty goal square made it a bit easier, Spud.
He's been very competitive today, Paul Johnson, against the Premier Ruckman in the competition. He's had 12 hit-outs to Sandilands 17, 6 disposals and a goal, 3 clearances. Great start for Paul Johnson.
There was a period last year where he had such a good run of form going that they ended up letting Jeff White go. He had one of the best tap-to-clearance winning possession rates in the comp.
I don't know if you were saying that. I think you were saying he should have just grabbed it instead of punched it.
I thought that means squibbed it. High kick.
Oh,
Bravo! That's a monster!
What a beauty.
I want to have a look at this. It was a fantastic ride, but there looked like about 8 sets of hands on it. The Robbo's just going to have a good look at it himself.
The Freo boys.
Let's have a look at this.
Great leap.
My word, it is. No.
Oh, no.
He had third purchase on
Greg
it.
Broughton had first grip of the ball from behind. There's Greg Broughton.
That's not a mark.
No.
That's just one for old time's sake from the umpires there.
Well, Greg Broughton should have spoiled too, by the way.
That's a thank you for a great career.
Well, it was a great leap by Robbo and a good finish. But Broughton, really, he should have been punching anyway. If you have a look at this. The long punching ball in from Dunn. Robbo loves to fly early. That's what his great mark, trademark is.
It's actually marked to Broughton.
It was a Broughton mark, really, but he needed to fist that.
He has been a star, Robbo. Draws level on the games list today with Gary Lyon and Stan Alves.
Sorry, didn't quite see it there, unfortunately.
Valenti hands it back. Maloney uses some run. Pops it to Petterd.
Sylvia's pushed on.
Sylvia should get this very clever kick. Sylvia into space, and Liam Jurrah will make that kick look good because it was bad.
No, he was deliberately going. I'm joking. I'm joking. I know he was having a shot.
That was a magnificent kick from Ricky Petterd.
Oh, that was a good kick.
Well, earlier on, Lyndon Dunn burnt him, but he thought, no, I'll give it to a player in the best position. Sylvia's hard running. I just think Melbourne are running hard. It's just a fraction harder than Freo at the moment.
Oh, my word, they are. Gee, I've never seen anyone look the way Dwayne did when I was going to try and back up Colin Sylvia.
Thought you managed him for a minute.
No, I don't.
And the find of the year for the Demons stretches the lead to 22 points.
Luck is a fortune because that will go down as an effective kick for Colin Sylvia. Yes, and Dwayne's eyes nearly popped out his sockets. And you see Colin Sylvia here size up the goals and shanked it beautifully onto the chest of Liam Jurrah there. But it was Petterd's kick into space. That was what set the goal up. Great play. They're running harder at the moment, Melbourne. Beautiful finish too from Liam Jurrah.
They took the gamble, Melbourne. Took him pick one pre-season ahead of Ben Cousins, ahead of Josh Carr and Hayden Skipworth. And Liam Jurrah has paid them back. And a little knock-on was good from Solomon, Ibbotson, but to Broughton's feet.
Well, they're worrying them out at the moment, Melbourne. They've got more numbers around the ball.
20 seconds left on the clock. Miller takes the mark, plays on, and nails it. They lead by 27.
Great 6 minutes from the Melbourne Football Club. We see Aaron Davey come off the ground again, and it was just the pressure around the loose ball. They've had more numbers all day. They're just worried. The extra handball from Freo. They haven't played these conditions well. Melbourne have. Handball in congestion to a 4-on-1 is not good football. Mark Harvey wouldn't be too happy with that. And it opens up the corridor beautifully for Melbourne. Brad Miller, his work rate's been there, but Aaron Davey caused that spillage again.
Umpire continuing to throw the ball up. Johnson and Sandlin,
well,
Sam McDonald.
there.
He did. Having a good game. Long kick. Front spot, Broughton.
Had you talk there, the boys.
Crunched. Liam Jurrah pounces. Kicks around the body towards full forward. And bounces it through. Unless it's a free.
It's a goal.
That's a goal.
Centre clearance is crucial. You see Liam Jurrah there, snapped over his head truly. It was going to be a free kick anyway, but great tap from Paul Johnson down to the Melbourne skipper, James McDonald. Centre clearance in these conditions. Good pick up from Liam Jurrah. That's what you want to do when you're under pressure, just get the ball in your boot. There's going to be a free kick there anyway to Stephen Martin against Marcus Drum. The umpire played a kick.
I'd like to have another look at that. He seemed to me like Martin was fidgeting.
Possible for the forwards to get onto that. They need to kick the ball 15 metres out.
Morton flies. Couldn't take the mark, but knocked it down to Bates' advantage. Sends it back to the square.
That's a better kick.
Robertson!
Well, that's the kick we were looking for just previous. Get the ball 10 metres out in front. It gives you forwards. It didn't go long and high so the defender could really set for a spoil. The long left foot kick from Bate kept low and it went to a real dangerous area and had the defenders on the back foot. Great play.
Dodd going to ground didn't help. You slip over in defence, the last line, Danny, as you'd know as a former fullback, you're just about cooked.
Percher on the scoreboard.
2 goals for Robbo. 33 points, the biggest lead of the game.
Young fan there with the ball, but that was a really good build-up. I love the kick of Bate. You're right, because he didn't give it a lot of air. The Sandlands was there as well. So the more air he put on this ball, the easier it would have been for Sandlands, who's 7 foot, to come in and spoil, but he kept it pretty low, which meant Sandlands couldn't get there, and Dodd happened to fall over, which helped.
And the key to that kick, he looked inboard, he assessed where the defence were and put it to his teammates' advantage.
Brought him back into the lineup this week, Russell Robertson. Really made him work hard for his return game 226. He's provided a couple of big ones. Valenti kicks forward, this game at breaking point. Davey could break it from 50, sends it low. Surely they're not 16th on the ladder.
Great play from Davey. I don't like this matchup, Shammer versus Davey. Lack of leg speed. Byron Shammer's normally in and under. And if you're going to play on a guy like Aaron Davey and you've got a lack of leg speed, have a look at the positioning of Shammer here. He didn't get goal side of Davey. First on the ball, Davey. Shammer chasing 5 metres behind. Very ordinary positioning, but fantastic centre clearance play. Great play from Davey also. That's terrific play. Melbourne are here to play today.
(77-38). Matthew Pavlich getting cold. Wide. Big spoil Jones. Knocks it down. Davey to Jones. Takes them on. Beats 2. They collide. Sends it inboard to Bate.
2 missed tackles there from Drum and Hazelby. Jones just bullocked his way through. Hazelby in front of you, Lee Cole, but they look nonplussed at the moment, Freo.
That was an awesome play from Jones right in front of me. He hit the contest so hard, and then to have the ability to hit a target on his left, well played.
Aaron Davey involved again. He's had 7 touches for the quarter.
Got the Three Stooges there. 2 of them collided trying to get to him.
7-0. Shammer yet to touch the ball for the quarter.
And Bate from 40 kicks the goal. 39 points.
Great play from Melbourne. They're winning the hard ball. They're winning the tackles. They're winning the clearances. They're using the ball well. The Aaron Davey matchup, and Shammer is all at sea at the moment. No doubt Mark Harvey will look at that matchup. Davey's pushed forward to make Shammer play as a back pocket now, which is an interesting matchup in itself. But just the options and the work rate of Jones, just seeing bullying his way through there. There wasn't much of a gap, but he's taking the game on.
Kilda back here at the MCG. Can't see them worrying St Kilda, but maybe against Carlton next week they're a chance, and that would maybe get them off the bottom of the ladder if Fremantle can't win another one.
Not another Melbourne-Carlton game where Melbourne don't really need to win.
Well, open forward line here for Sylvia.
And Sylvia bombs it long. Jurrah! And jumping Jurrah gets a free.
We'll never forget that Carlton-Melbourne game a few years ago. The Travis Johnson game.
That was the game where, in essence, they had a chance to grab 2 early draft picks, Melbourne, and that would have been Cruiser and Judd, and they missed out. They got Carl Morton as part of that deal, but Cruiser and Judd, as opposed to Carl Morton, might have been better.
Was that a mark or a free kick?
Free kick they paid.
Slapping the arms.
What's the free kick count at the moment? We better check
50-minute penalty. Does that count as another one?
No.
You sure? I think it does.
I'd like to give it to you, Dwayne. I know you're all over it.
I don't think they can even this up, Dwayne. 15-6 the count at the moment.
Nostradamus if they do, Dwayne Russell.
For number 3. And he adds another half dozen to a very attractive Melbourne scoreboard.
Well, it's a disappointing effort by Fremantle. They've done some really good work in the last 3 weeks. And they're now getting touched up by the team who's won 3 games for the year, who's on the bottom. So he's exciting, this kid. He's got such a good leap, and he like the real good players too, they go early. And he's got a real big upside, Liam Jurrah. As has a few of these Melbourne players. There'll be some fun from the Demon supporters with this mob coming forward.
Biggest margin of the game, 45 points. 91 to 46.
It is copybooking technique. He tackles to the hips. He doesn't
Tackles a throw.
well umpired. But getting back to James McDonald, he doesn't look at the ball at all. He just hones in on the hips with the last thing to move on a player's body, and you just see it here.
He'll be sore, Neville. And Neville Jenner.
It's like a little dog just grabbing him by the end of his pants. Sylvia.
He's 123 kilos, Aaron Sandilands. And Jenner 77.
Yeah. Dog chasing
He's
down
gone
the
to
postie.
torpedo. Huh?
It's not bad. It's more than not bad. That's a bomb.
He was looking for a pass. No need to when you can kick the ball like a mule. That's gone 70 metres, 65 metres, Colin Sylvia. Again, they've owned the corridor today. They've forced Freo wide. The amount of goals, they've scored 15. This is an unbelievable tackle here. The land of the Giants.
That's 46 kilos difference. That's a jockey difference.
It's 10 goal kickers, different goal kickers for Melbourne now. There's no need to look for a pass when you kick the ball 65 metres. Probably when they've had the ball, they run the ball through the middle of the ground with play such as this.
McNamara, Davey, Sylvia, Rivers, Jones, Jurrah and Robertson calling for it.
Again, see, that's
Robbo will do.
That's what you talked about, Spud, last week. That exact position would have been hit to the forward pocket. It would have been the leading Miller who had Tarrant right behind him. This time, Jones opens up his vision, looks inboard, see him looking inside.
That's the key. That is the key, and it was Miller who was on his own last week, the direct bit of play. He's gone to school on that, Nathan Jones.
Having a good afternoon, Robbo. Kicking with dead
like
man's
this.
boots. Career might be close to over. But you would love to have walked a mile in them.
There's no doubt kicking 3 goals, he'd be wrapped with that. And Lee Colbert said at 3/4 time, we're going to see something special. Aaron Davey's been special today. 29 disposals, 17 kicks, 2 goals, 1, 9 inside 50s and 4 goal assists. And Nathan Jones, you call the pickers, the look in, the lead in the corridor. Great play, powerful football, corridor footy.
It's hard to believe he hasn't been able to get a game.
What are you now to allow Morton to take the mark?
McNamara, as you can see, plenty of spare seats in the grandstands. Just the 13,004 here today, and don't that 4 make it look a little better than 12,000 something? Petterd takes the mark, 52 from goal.
Is that including us 4?
I think it does.
Wayne, Pickers, myself and Colby.
Lucky we came. Jumping Jurrah gets up there and almost marks it. Did he kick that? Oh, you bet he did. Is there anything this kid can't do?
Well, need to have a look at this. He's got the touch of mercurial about him, whether it's in the air or on the ground. He can't believe it himself, Spud.
The Melbourne supporters standing up, standing ovation from William Jurrah. Let's have another look.
See the leap to get him up there. Oh, how does he do that? Let's have another look at this.
That's one of the best goals you'll ever see.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Is that a contender? He's kicked that over in between hands, overheads.
No doubt. The second effort, he's landed on his back.
Morton standing tall again. Valenti shoots it wide. Miller, McDonald, Sylvia. For Stephen Martin, outside of the foot, kick was good. Looks up, where's Jurrah? He heads toward Bate instead. Almost an arm
recovery.
lock. Bate runs onto it, and he blows this margin out to 63.
Again, we saw slow play from Freo. Work the ball down slowly into their forward 50. Melbourne cause the turnover, and they switch and run and get the ball inside their forward 50. You just see Stephen Martin played on instantly. Good play. Gets the ball over the top. Drum won't like that. Had to get a piece of the ball or the body. Once Matthew Bate got goal side, it was all over. You can see trying to get a piece of the ball or the body. Got neither and hurt a big weight. Very good forward, Matthew Bate today. 2 goals, 24 disposals, 7 marks. Great work rate.
He's actually been a really consistent player this year, Matthew Bate, playing high half-forward role through the midfield.
Petterd. It's not over yet. Bate
Again.
And he's got it again.
Right,
Yeah, coming off 27 possessions last week, Spud. One of the few players that we thought was pretty competitive for the whole game.
and once he gets a key power forward to work off, he is going to be a very good player. At the moment, he's playing the key position a little bit on his own, and in a finals-type team, he'd be a perfect half-forward, third tall.
This is not just a win. This is a smashing 69 points.
Well, before the game, Spud, we tipped into Fremantle again. We say it time and time again, when they get challenged, they just don't know how to find a way to win. And this has become really easy for Melbourne.
And that passage of play there sums up Freo. One-handed, not putting your head over the ball, not body lining the ball. You're in the centre clearance, put your body over the ball, and Melbourne, they wanted it more. They get the ball down to Bate, all over. Freo been very ordinary.
3 goals to Matthew Bate. He's got 3 minutes and 20 to add to the 3. Miller being held.
I mean, this is the 16th place team whacking you.
Jones, McLean, Valenti. He can smell the big sticks. Looks up. Oh, it's party time. Bring out the hundreds and thousands sandwiches.
Oh, the old fairy bread. It's called for the fairy bread.
Might have to have one of those tonight now. But you're right, Valenti. It's been his best performance, 29 disposals. It is party time. It's been great play from Melbourne. Let's not talk about Freo too much, because Melbourne have been the better team all day. They've won every quarter of football. They've been hard. They've been tough. They've used the ball extremely well. And it started with McLean and players like Valenti.
And I think the interchange numbers might even be headed for the 100 mark. Lee Colbert.
Exactly right. Duano, Melbourne 98 and Freo 100.
Yeah, they've had some good players, Melbourne. When you look at it, I really like the game, and the little fella there, Valenti, sort of sums up their effort today.
Well, in general, Melbourne has worked harder than ever today, and they've exercised some demons. 20 goals, 7-1-27. Jim Steins, part of the 13,000 here, to see the 4th win of the year for the Melbourne Football Club, and they are still a chance to avoid the wooden spoon. Big percentage boost today, and they are just 1 win away from pushing Fremantle down to 16th spot on the ladder and heading up to 15th themselves. But as we said, if they win another game, Melbourne, they won't get the priority pick in the draft.